So let's say you got a house built and what you want to do is put a roof on top of that. How do you do that? Let's check it out. I'm sharing my screen. We're going to our favorite program, Sketchup. Here's our house with no roof on it. What I've done, as you can see, is I've selected the outer ring. I've selected with my shift click that outer line of all the edges are blue, so they're all lit up. What that means is that now I can use my offset tool, this guy here, to grab that and expand that and say maybe make it 18 inches, which is what's called the soffit. It's like underneath the roof. That's the overhang. So now that I've got that shape, I can grab my push-pull tool and pull that up, say 6 inches or something like that. That's kind of like the eaves troughs. Now you'll notice I can still see down into my house. I kind of don't want that. I kind of want a flat roof. So what I'm going to do is just grab one of these edges and cut it loose. And now I've got a hole that's filled in. So I can just get rid of these individual lines here. We're going to do a lot of erasing today with various lines that we will collect. And it's worth it to know a couple of tricks. You can, with an eraser tool, use that and click, click, click. I find it's pretty fussy because it has to have that be on that little tiny circle on the edge of the eraser right there in order to get that to work. You can, of course, also just use your arrow. So now I've got a nice flat roof on top of this thing that I can do what I want to with it. Today we talked about 6 different kinds of roofs and we learned how to draw them. I'm going to put 2 different ones on this house right now. The first one I'm going to show you is a mansard roof. So the mansard roof, as you recall, comes up, but it's like a smaller version of that same shape up above. So I'm going to push-pull this shape up, say 6 feet, and then I'm going to use my scale tool and grab this outside corner, hold down the Option key to scale that from the center. If you don't do that, it's going to look weird. It's going to go like this. Yep, that one. So you see what happens. Whoops, that's not right. But if I hold down my Option key, all of a sudden it looks right. So if I scale that to about 75%, basically what that means is that I've got a 3-to-1 rise to run ratio. So when I scale at 75%, that sets the angle for the outside of the house. Now I want to grab my push-pull tool again, pull this up, say another foot, 1 foot, not 1 inch, and then I'm going to scale that top surface. Double click there, scale tool, and then I'm going to hold down my Option key again and scale that basically right back to the center. So now, obviously, if you were building this house, you wouldn't leave it finished like that. You'd clean up all that stuff. But for our purposes, for a roof that we need on a house, that looks pretty darn good. So that's one style. That's the mansard roof. You could put asphalt shingles on that or terracotta or whatever. There's stuff in the roofing and siding and things like that in the materials window. Let's undo that. Undo. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is put a hip roof on this thing. And this is kind of cool. It looks like a heck of a mess at one point, so just bear with me here. I'm finding the midpoint of this line. I just roll my pencil over until it goes ding, midpoint. And then I pop that up, say 5 feet, 5 feet. So that's the height that I want to make my roof. I've already got my edges turned I've already got my overhang set up. So now what I've got is just the surface of my roof and I've got one angle drawn. This is really cool. Watch this. Select the top surface, grab your Follow Me tool, and then click that guy. And it goes nuts. Wow. I'm not sure that worked. Let's try that again. Click that one, Follow Me, doing, and it does the whole roof like that. Now you might find yourself saying, Tom, it looks like heck. I know. So what it's doing is basically it's intersecting a whole bunch of shapes together. But the roof that we need is underneath all that junk. So all we got to do is get the shovel out and shovel a lot of that, and we'll find a pony inside there. So the way to do that is like this shape you can see right there. There's no edge right there. These shapes are all connected up. So we have to intersect them. We have to break them apart so that we can then say, I want this part, I don't want that part. So double click, triple click on that whole thing. And now right click, control click, intersect faces with selection. And dink, now you see I've got an edge right there, which means I can throw this face away. and this line and this line, and I start to get a sense of what's underneath all this stuff. And it might take me a bit because some parts will disappear, things that I thought, oh, I could have gotten rid of that. And then of course I find out, oh, I actually needed to keep that. But if you scoot around here, if you kind of get on your orbit tool and go rocking around, you'll be able to see, oh, that's part of the roof. That's not part of the roof. So I'm just going to scoot over here and see those little wings. I don't need those guys. So they're going to go. So if you give me, just, put me on speed fast here. I won't talk for a minute, and you can put me on speed and watch me just kind of go around the room here. Okay, it's time to turn it back on again. We've got a hole right there that might cause you a little bit of grief, but what we should be able to do is close that back up again. As I told you earlier, SketchUp hates holes. And so if I just click 2 spaces there, as long as those shapes are all coplanar, they will close back up again. And now I've got a pretty great roof, hip roof for a hip house. Hope you thought that was pretty cool. I look forward to catching up with you again later for the, I hate to say this, last class. Love you. Bye.